Check 1, 2. Microphone check. We're good there. Camera check 1. Camera check 2. Welcome. It's Therapeutic Thursday. Every Thursday I try to sit, notice my breath, notice my body, bring myself into a state of maybe flow or creativeness where I take what's going on maybe in my brain, or maybe not specifically, but trying to maybe focus down on a piece of paper, pencil, pen, and just maybe it's drawing. I'm going to draw a mandala. It helps me. Maybe you just want to write. Maybe you just want to draw in your own time. And this is just a shared space, comfortable space for you to do so. I like to talk and give advice whenever I think of it, and otherwise just kind of go with the flow. It's my favorite thing to do, and I like the accountability of sitting down to do it because I like to have that. It helps me, so I hope it helps anybody else. So welcome yourself to your space. Take a few deep breaths. Make sure you have maybe a little bit of room to breathe, right? So I kind of always have this tripod right behind me, but I can still move my back and I can move my neck, right? When we draw or when we hunch over things, there's a lot of kind of like hunched upness. Take a moment, like stretch your back out. Feel some length in the spine. Expand the breath. Because the reason this becomes so powerful for me personally is usually because it's not just about making art or drawing or being creative, but it's more about doing something one-pointed. It's a meditation, it's an awareness, and it's a expression, right? I'm expressing myself through this this medium, this art. So here we go. Let's get started. And the first thing I wanted to start with, let's see what we got here. My Staples ruler. It's a ruler. So I chose this kind of bright pink piece of paper to work with today. I don't know why it called to me, but it was just like, oh, maybe use something other than a white piece of paper. I sometimes use different colors. As you can see with my my logo, there's a lot of different colors in it. This is my little business card I just got made up. But like, it's all about bursts of color and things of that nature. So that's kind of my, quote unquote brand. But it's just because it's expression, right? I have it behind me back there, the chakras and the different color stuff like that. It's something that it's something to pay attention to, right? What's your favorite color and why? Types of things like that. What catches your eye when you're out in public or in a movie or clothes or something like that? Like, what is it about color that brings out something in you that you find to be exciting or refreshing, anything like that? It's just things to notice. So we'll start drawing our mandala here today on my piece of paper. Like I said, I went with this kind of bright pink. I don't know why it keeps focusing, but it just is. And we're going to take this rectangle piece of paper and we're going to make it into a square. So give me just 1 second here because see if I can adjust. Don't know why this camera's doing that. Let's see if it's just got this thing. I know. Function. No. Give me just one more moment, and then if it's not working, I can just forget the concept of all of this. Menu. Why? Oh, why are you doing this right now? Here it is. Give me one moment. Let's see if I can. It's like it won't let me take off autofocus. And I don't know why. There we go. Unfortunately, it's still giving me some problems, but give me one moment. Let's put this right here, as this was supposed to be done earlier. And for some reason, it didn't work, so we're working on it. Working on it. Perfect. Good enough for me. Hopefully good enough for you. Ha ha ha. It's been an extra minute. Here we are. So, back to camera one. Thank you for being patient. If you watched this and you moved on already, I totally understand. But we're still going to draw our mandala today. Welcome yourself to your space, as I always say, because it's something to recognize that it's not comfortable, it's like awareness, right? So it's not that you have to always be comfortable, it's that it's nice to notice if you can bring a little bit more comfort into your life, why not, right? But also notice if you're uncomfortable and why. That's the other part of it, is noticing the why aspect of, well, if I'm uncomfortable because my back, is it my shoulders, is it my mental space, then there is no physical, place I could be that would be helpful. All of that is something to notice. I'm going to sharpen my pencil here, so this way when I go to draw my lines, they're nice and, accurate. So, the old school way of making a square out of my rectangle is I'm just going to measure the short edge of my rectangle. Let's go with the inches. We'll use the classic system here. So it looks like that to 8.5. So it's 8.5. So then I just measure the long edge to be 8.5. And just because, I'm just going to flip it around. So 8.5 should give me my square. 8.5 at the top, another 8.5 down here at the bottom. And right away you lock in. You try to lock into what you're doing in the moment, not trying to get it done, not trying to be quick about it, but getting to do it because it's something you enjoy, or it's a challenge, maybe, to be present and notice what you notice. There we go. So there's my line. And I'm going to cut my little strip of paper off of my paper. And like I said, I went with the pink because it's a color I don't really get to play with a lot. When I do work with the chakras and all that stuff like that, it's the rainbow, right? And pink is not in that. So it's kind of fun to go outside of the normal colors. And not that pink isn't normal, but you know what I mean. Doing something that you're not used to working with, right? So changing up your medium, changing up your routine, right? So if I'm always just drawing the same thing over and over, as that is what a mandala is, it can get tedious or boring or something like that. So it's fun to change it up in any way. So maybe that is just the color of the paper. That could be fun enough to change it up. So little changes might help to notice, if that helps a little bit. So now we've got our square piece of paper. We're going to find the middle of our paper by going to the corners. So I like to turn it kind of diagonally. Find the corner of, so there's my one corner, meet up with the other one at the other side of the ruler, and then draw a little line in the middle. I'm going to do the same thing this way. Turn the paper so that the ruler goes to each diagonal corner, meets up, meets up, meets up. Double check, always triple check your measurements. And then there's my line that I'll need. So erase this. So I have a little X right there in the middle. And that gives me my center point. And with the center point, I'm going to draw a circle. And that's going to be probably the size of my mandala, right? Like, that is one way to do it. You kind of set how big you want to have it. or you start with a small circle and you work outwards. So it's kind of however you want to do it, whichever way. We've done it both ways. Getting my compass point to match so that the pencil and the compass point meet up, and then when I open it up, it'll be easier to draw that circle. So let's go ahead and find my compass point right where that X is that we made. There we go. And then I'm going to make a nice big mandala here. I'll work with a bigger one today. So that'll be kind of where it ends up. All right? How's that sound? I like that idea. Now, if that's the size of the end circle, let's find what size I'd want the first circle to be. And I think I want to make it yay big. There we go. So that begins our mandala for the day. I want to find that center point. And I think we can find it with doing it the way that I've seen Corvin do, which is put the point up in the corner of the paper and then make a mark somewhere where you think it's about a little more than halfway. So I'd say like somewhere, maybe even much smaller than that actually. So about here. So the corner of the paper, let's do that, and then go to your other corner. Try to put the point in the far corner as far as you can get it without. There we go. And that'll be the point where it crosses the circle up there. And I gotta sharpen this pencil as well. I know I'm kind of in the shot here. But this is the real-time stuff that I feel like is helpful to connect to, right? So one trick is to take your pencil point and put it right in the hole that you made with your compass, and then line it up with that X that we just made. That'll give us our vertical line going up and down. Very nice. And so with that, I'm going to then create that seed of life in the middle. And so I'm going to make it back to the size of the original circle, the original middle circle. Try to match it up quick here. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my point and I'm going to put it at the top where that line met with the circle. And then I'm going to make another circle. And we're going to go around. So then I'm going to find my point and I'm going to put it where those two circles converge. And then you test it. You see if the point goes in the middle, and then you also see if the point goes into where it intersects the two circles. And it looks like it does. So we'll go up and through and around. Very nice. And then we keep going. So I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm going to make where those two circles converge, put my point, match it up with the center of the circle, and then up here where those two circles connect. It looks like it looks good. Make your circle. And it should also align with that bottom line. If it doesn't, that's okay. Keep going. Where those circles meet, and maybe where that line also meets. Meet in the circle in the center. Also see if it crosses where the last circle intersects. So there's that one. keep going. So there's one right here. Same concept. This is the best part, where you just keep doing your circles. See, it doesn't quite meet up. I like to test and test and test and test, you know? Because accuracy is actually the funnest part of these things, is to take your time and to be accurate. And you can see it may not always align exactly right, so you do your best. If you get this last one to line up nice and tight with the rest of them, you'll see it looks nice. Let's try it. Nice. So there's our little seed of life in the middle of our paper, and then we have our guide of the rest of the mandala, where we're going to put the rest of it going. So now we need to divide this up a bit. So one of the first things we could do is find our horizontal line with this, meaning that we're going to take the point and we're going to put our point right there in the middle, and then you bring your ruler down to meet that, and you're trying to see where those two circles converge. It'll seem pretty obvious. You'll have there and there. So the points where those two circles meet combine with the middle, and then you make a line straight across. Oh, my ruler moved. That happens sometimes. Got to push it down tight. That's okay. So now we have our up and down. We have our vertical. We have our horizontal. Now we'll play with getting some diagonals. And one of the best things to do is just find your point. And again, same thing like we did with the diagonal. We're going to find where those two lines converge, where those two circles converge. We're going to make a line there. Very nice. Same thing on this end. Oh, sorry. So where those circles converge, combine in the middle. And then the last one will be where the points of this star, this seed of life, where those points match up. So it's the inner circle with the point in the center. That should line up there and there. And then again, this should give us the last one. So the point right in the middle. And then if you could see, you're going to see where these 2 points are, this one and this one. And that's where we're going to meet in the middle. Once you've got that, make your line all the way down and through. And nice. So it may not be absolutely perfect, but now we have this kind of separated out mandala. So what we can do here is draw another circle around the first seed of life. So you just extend that out to the edge of your circle where those all converge, and just double check that it meets all the points. See, it's a little bit shorter there. 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 Maybe a little bit bigger than it, actually. I'm going to go like a centimeter bigger than it to give it some space. There we go. So I'm going to start there. And so then now we have this other section. And what I think we could do is make another kind of set of circles that start where this one is and go maybe to here. Let's double check to see if that even works. So if I were to go up through here and here, it would be, notice that, or just trying to decide. I like how this is coming out already. If I put my point here and here, right, or here, actually, I'll start with the point there and see if I can get it to be that. And so that would be this. And then I just want to reverse that. Yeah. So then put the point there and there. It'll go out through here. It'll go out through here. Yes. Okay. So that's what I want. So instead of going through the middle, I'm going to put it at here. I'm going to start there. Yes. Okay. So this is the concept. So it's the size of the circle that's surrounding the seed of life, and then just flip it. So put the point here, and then go over one section. So you see how it's here? You want to go here. We're going to be altering slightly. Alternating? No. Putting it on this side. But the point is that you're going to make only that half a circle. So you're going to start here at the top of it, and you're going to go around, and you're going to create that arc there. I'm going to go all the way around with that. Nice. Okay. And so then I'm just going to go over 2 lines. So that it meets up there in the middle of that circle. And same thing. Up and around. It should meet up with those lines very nicely. We just keep going. And we're just taking our time making these little arcs. There should be one more. Cool. So now we should have, yes, that's fun. So you got your seed of life in the middle. It's separated by another circle, and then we made that one these extra kind of petals and arcs and stuff like that. So that's what we're playing with right here. And now the last thing I'd like to do is I want to make these are self-explanatory, and then I want to make this go to the point where it's there. So we'll make those. And then one last thing I want to make is something that's going to go in here. So if I can take the original circle size, yeah, okay, and put that here, right there. That's what I'm looking for. So it's the original circle in the middle right there, making that little arc. And just go all the way around the same thing. So you're putting your point right there. I just keep turning my paper, and that's going to be the other thing I work with. Nice. All right. So that's given me some shape that I like here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I want, instead of being circles up to the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a petal that ends at the point of the bigger circle that I made. So you're going to follow your line as you go up through here, and then around this part, just make a little reverse S up into the where that line connects and reaches that outer edge of that circle. So the same thing is going to be following the line up to a point that you feel like you can start arcing up and down and through. And so that's creating a petal. We're going to go all the way around and create that petal on the outer edge of the whole mandala. So you just need that little extra. So I'm going to follow that line as I go, and then when I get to that sweet spot where I can start arcing up, that'll give me my point I'm looking for, and then down and through. And just keep going. Hopefully this brings you some balance in your, maybe it's your sacral chakra for creativity, right? I love working with the idea of the chakras. If you're working with the doshas, this is kind of like the vata creative aspect of it, but then it's like bringing into play all these different things. So with this one, I like how that's right there in the middle, and there's these here. Now, I put that there, went around. I put this here, would it be the same thing? No, I don't want that. So now we have our outer petals. We have this one here. And I think that if we do something like this, no. Yeah, I would need it something in the middle. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, so outer petals, let's just keep it at that, and then we'll do these inner ones. These I like to stay round. I think that could be cool. And yeah, I don't even know kind of what else I want to do. I almost like it how it is. I guess I would want to go like this, right? To make that a little bit. Yeah, that's a good idea. Add just that little point right there. So it seems like it's not much, but it'll give that little extra point to your circles in the middle there. So as you go around, just add that same little flare to the point of the first seed of life. It won't seem like much, but then later on you'll see how it looks cool. Same thing. There we go. And I might keep that cut in half and then add lines to that. That could be cool. All right. Honestly, I don't even know what else I want to do with the shape of everything. I think that it already kind of speaks for itself. So we can draw the seed of life in the middle, right? Then we'll have this set of arcs, and I'll even keep that line in there. And then what I'll do is I'll draw these lines kind of straight down through, kind of separating everything out. That could be fun, keep kind of breaking it up that way, and then having even the lines in there, and the same thing, we might even just fill in the right side of every leaf, petal, something like that could be cool. And then when these are cut in half, then I'll do this with this, and then we could even have another layer. And if we have the other layer, let's find that first then. So right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one more circle. So I'm going to put the compass right there in the middle, and I'm going to go to the point where those circles converge, and I'm going to make that the size of my compass. And then I'm just going to make a little mark around. I'm actually going to do a whole circle around that, because that is going to be where this point, I'm going to draw this one behind it. No. Okay, that could be cool. Kind of additional seed, right? So to that point, something like that could be cool. Let's just add that. So I'm just going to add this little seed shape to Mandala right there. Okay. And then on top of that will be this, and then this, and then that. Okay. I'm going to keep it big and open, and I'm not going to add too much to it. I think it's going to look fun. So now we're going to ink it. And this is my favorite part, to re-recognize my breath. Recognize how my body feels. If I'm holding any tension anywhere, can I soften? I'm going to bring myself in a little bit more. Make sure I'm comfortable. Again, I have the tripod behind me, and see if that kind of messed up things. All right? I like doing this. I know that it's chaotic. I know that it's probably hard to follow if you're actually following. And if you do watch this and you are following along and you're trying to draw with me, let me know how I can make this better or easier for you. So if it's how I'm talking, if it's the camera, if it's the any of those types of things, please let me know if I can make this better. This just helps me. It helps me be better at teaching and learning at the same time of expressing myself, right? I always think this is kind of like the Bob Ross yoga connection, where it's about drawing like happy little trees, right? Just happy little mandalas. But with that mindfulness of it, like the fact that you just get to do it, like I feel like that's the wonderful part of it, because it doesn't really matter how it ends up, because it's not like I'm trying to make money off of the being an artist. I'm just enjoying drawing to draw. So let's keep it that way. So now I'm going to rub out the lead of my mandala so I can add ink. And this one's not going to be that fancy of details until later, right? Like I could always add details later and freehand it. This is my guide for the day. And I notice my breath. And we're back. So now it seems like you can't see it, but I can see it pretty well. And now we're going to ink the main lines that I want to use. So I'm going to use 8 to begin. And let's draw, actually, let's start from the middle and work our way out. So I'm going to get a 5. So I'm going to start with the seed of life. Maybe just like that. Go inward and allow this to be the time of your day. You're nice and quiet in your own head and not overanalyzing or overthinking, allowing your breath to happen, allowing your body to feel comfortable in the space. Same thing, right? Just taking your time is the best part of drawing. It'll make you a better artist. Just taking your time. Don't rush. Don't try to get it done. Focus on your breath. Yeah, we're going to have to put that circle in the middle there. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to draw those little seeds. then I'm going to draw the next part of the mandala, so this one here. And what I'm going to do is thicken this up a little bit. We're actually going to go from the middle up and through. I'm going to add a little bit more to it. There we go. So I'm just instead now going kind of right here and then following the line and then following it up to the point. So you still use the guide you made, but you can always make slight adjustments when you go to ink. That one got a little messed up. Keep moving with your breath. Cool. So now it's got that little flare right there. And what I'll probably do is draw another thinner one right underneath it. You do your best to make all of them about the same. I love trying to. Yeah, that one came out a little wonky. I like it though. Okay. And the other thing I will add. No, that's good. So now I want to do these guys. Same thing. Here to here. Here to here. And then that line straight up the middle. So it's like a bigger version of it. So that there, same thing. Making sense? I see what's happening. And I'm just silently drawing because that's what this is the part that I find to be, like I said, like therapeutic. Now with that, I think we do need to add that circle. There we go. Yeah. There you go. And then we're going to have our bigger petals at the end, and then that little circle in the middle. So let's add it. So again, I'm going to go kind of like a few in. I'm going to start here, work my way up to this line, and then once I get there, go and follow it up to the point. There we go. There we go. Oh, hey, Snickers. What's up? Cool. So now I got these big old petals on the outside. And I'll make those circles right there in the middle. So that little arc. And minus some details, which I'll work on. I really like how this is coming out. What I'll probably do is thicken up the very outer one and then add another layer in the middle. But so far, and as a kind of put together mandala, I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'll go ahead and I'll add detail and see how it comes out with some more layers, right? So I feel like if I add some shading and some detailing and stuff like that, it could look really nice. But I think that the idea is, it's started. And what I'll do is we'll at least add that extra layer, and then I'll be done. So I'm going to start here, work my way up to this point. Boy, I enjoy doing this because it's fun. And it's repetitive, but it's not tedious. I love showing this to other people. So that's the layers that I wanted to do on the outer edge of those petals. And then something similar here. But I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to let this simmer for a while. I'm going to leave it be for a bit. And then what I'll do is I'll come back to it and I'll see what other details I want to add. But I feel like it's a good time to pause and have it be something that I can come back to when I'm ready. So thank you Therapeutic Thursday. This was our mandala for the day. And I hope that if you drew with me, that you enjoy sitting and noticing your breath and trying something like drawing. If you'd like to see something else, let me know and we can work on it. I kind of envision this to be whatever helps. This is what helps me, and I share it. Maybe it'll help you. So thank you. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Happy Therapeutic Thursday, as I call this. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and take care of yourself.